Hi guys, today we are going to do a deep dive into It Ends With Us, the book. I'm going to do a book review, and I also want to touch on kind of the craziness that is surrounding It Ends With Us, the movie. I haven't actually seen the movie, but I have kind of been obsessed with watching just like all the press junket interviews and like what everyone's kind of ideas are as to what's going on. And it's just been absolutely insane to kind of watch the downfall of like Lively. I'm just gonna put it out there. So focusing on the book first, I read this book 2 years ago, but I do want to preface and say that the book still lives in my head. Like, I feel like I remember all the important parts because I don't read a lot of romance books in general, so all of the like romance stories that are like in my head are like very far and few between. So because of that, It Ends With Us is pretty like stuck. So I read this book 2 years ago. I was 20 years old. I read it for free at the library, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. I'm looking at my Goodreads right now, so I did give this book 4 stars. I actually really enjoyed this book, and I do also want to talk about, even before the movie was announced, the book in general had a lot of like hate surrounding it. Readers kind of thought, or they think, that the book glorified domestic violence, but I don't actually agree with that. I feel the same way about this book that I do about 13 Reasons Why, which when that book was like resurging, you know, a long time ago, everyone was saying how it was glorifying self-harm. And I think that, in my opinion, I never understood that viewpoint, and I still don't. I still just don't understand how you can like come to that conclusion. Now obviously 13 Reasons Why is kind of different because it's a story about a girl who is no longer with us, and she leaves, you know, little pieces of information for people to find, and it can kind of, some people like might see that as like sorry, somebody was literally choking in the other room. Had to make sure they weren't dying. But anyways, so like, where was I? Yeah, people are always saying that Colleen Hoover and It Ends With Us glorifies DV, which I just don't understand that viewpoint, because at the end of the day, I feel like this story really, like, I think the way the characters were written and how the story kind of flowed, it logically in my head makes sense. You fall in love with this person, you know, our main character Lily falls in love with Ryle, and at the beginning it's great. I honestly can't remember any red flags until he like hit her for the first time, but like before there was any like physical contact, in my opinion, I didn't like, you know, mentally think that I saw any red flags, you know what I mean? And he was a great guy. And then like the first thing happens, and I remember when I read that, I'm pretty sure the first time it ever happened was they were like making food, and all of a sudden she's on the ground. It was something so crazy, and she was like, did he push me? And like her inner monologue is like, did he push me? And she's like, nah, he didn't push me. It's so creepy, because I feel like if you love the person, whether that's your significant other, your parent, your sibling, and something like that happens, where, you know, it happens so fast you don't even know what the fuck happened, I think it's very natural to immediately think in your head, no, I love this person, no, this person loves me, they would never hurt me, I must have fallen, I must have slipped, I must have tripped. Like, that's, in my opinion, a very logical, and I think immediate thought you would have, and I would have in my head if something like that happened. You know, I wouldn't think that, especially when the man didn't even like, he like, you know, didn't even act different after it happened, so it's kind of awkward and like weird, but like I wouldn't have thought anything crazy. Do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird, it's kind of gray area. And then it just builds and it builds, and you're just like, okay, see, Ryle is kind of sneaky with it. He's a great person, but all of a sudden his anger takes over and he just goes fucking ballistic. He's a psychopath, low-key. And then other things happen, you know, more physical harm. And then like that pivotal moment when, oh my God, there's that, y'all know what I'm talking about, that one scene with the fucking magnet on the fridge. That took me out. And I mean, like, I had just like a pit in my stomach, like, ooh, I don't want to keep reading this because it's not gonna go anywhere I want. It's not gonna be happy. It's not gonna be good. It's not gonna go well. And it didn't. And it's just like honestly terrifying and really depressing that that happened, but it did, and it was in a book. And I don't think that talking about it or I don't know, having a character story include DV is somehow glorifying it. Because in my opinion, if you believe it glorifies it, then tell me what you would have done differently. Because the idea of stories and the purpose of storytelling is to showcase everyone's viewpoint, everyone's perspective, everyone's life. Everyone lives different lives, you know. It's gonna be very hard to put yourself in someone else's shoes, but just try for a minute. And I just don't really get when people are like, oh, it glorifies DV, it glorifies it. But like, how would you have written the story? Because that is so many people's real life story. Them falling in love with a man who is good to them, and then the man showing his true colors, losing his fucking mind, and beating them. And that's how the shit goes. So if you write a story like that, and then half of the readers claim that it's glorifying it, what do you mean? Like, I still don't understand that, and I never will, and I never want to, because that's not real life. Real life is people get the shit beat out of them. Real life is that not everyone's life is cookie cutter happy. And I think it's important that books showcase an aspect of that, because not every book you read has to be happy, because life is not always happy. And I think it's important to read, and that's why without bad things, you wouldn't know what happy is. You wouldn't. And I don't know, I just think that story was really important. And I think it was like the acknowledgements, or was it the beginning of the end, where she mentions that this was like a personal kind of story that she wanted to tell because of her own her own like struggles that she saw her mother go through with her father, which was very depressing to read, but it even made the story just make more sense. So that's kind of my book review, super quick. I don't know, I didn't like write anything down. I'm kind of just spitting it out as it comes, but that's kind of what I wanted to like touch on when it comes to the book. Also, like I said, I haven't seen the movie, but like I've seen it so many TikToks, and learning that Owen Hunt is like plays Lily's dad is so fucking hilarious. It's so funny. Oh my God. Anyways, that was such a random thing, but hilarious to me. But like, yes, with the press junket, in my opinion, I have always seen Blake Lively as like this person who, I mean, I don't like, you know, deep dive into her life or anything before this movie, but like, I don't know, I kind of just always saw her as this person who was never in hot water and had never done anything like wrong, and always showed up looking great and beautiful, and she's got this amazing relationship with her husband, and you know, her husband is also famous, and she's got this beautiful family, and it's so easy to just see those things as face value things and then glorify her as a person, or put her and or any other celebrity above the rest of the population as if they are holier than thou. It's a very detrimental thing that you can do to yourself, and just like for society, it's just not a healthy thing to be doing. And I think that seeing a lot of her interviews because of this press junket definitely nailed it into me that you never know a person. And as much as you think that you know your favorite actor, and you think that you know your favorite celebrity, you don't. You really don't. And that can be scary, but I think it's important that we understand the fact that as obsessed as you may be with a person, you don't know them personally, and you'll never be inside their head. So you'll never be able to truly know them. Don't forget that. But yeah, with the movie, we have our two leads, Blake Lively, who plays Lily Bloom, and Jason Baldoni, I think that's how you say his name, who plays Ryle, what's that man's last name? Ryle Kincaid. Now, the way that I have read about and understood it is that years ago, Justin had previously bought out the rights of the book. So he had bought the rights for the book, and he also has his own production company. So the idea was that he was going to like be producing this movie and like directing it. And then of course we also have Colleen Hoover, who is somehow has some power, who knows how, but she has power within the movie. And I am not sure who brought in Blake. I don't know if it was Colleen, I don't know if it was Justin, but somebody brought Blake in and gave her a goddamn producer credit, and she kind of bulldozed her way in and took over the production. To be honest, like super quick, she totally bulldozed it. There's so many interviews of her like literally saying like, oh yeah, you know, there's so many scenes where I just didn't like this or this, so I went and changed it. And I was like, okay. Or there's this like really weird awkward scene where like she's doing an interview and she's like talking and she's like, oh yeah, you know, Ryan, he rewrote some of the script. And I'm just like, who gave him that permission though, babe? Ryan is not even in this movie. I think it's so fucking weird when you try to like have this, you bring an actor in and you're ultimately bringing in their other significant app and they're over here taking over the production. It's very unprofessional. It's very weird. It's very just like extra, like take it down 5 notches, please, Blake, take it down. Also there's like all these pictures from like the red carpet of Blake, her husband, and Hugh Jackman. And I'm like, obviously Ryan is simultaneously having his own press junket with Deadpool and Wolverine, and I guess Hugh Jackman just came over and decided to join it in with us and take pictures and do all these weird shit with them. And I'm just like, every picture is like the 3 of them, but not like Justin Baldoni is nowhere in any of the pictures. All of the interviews he gives, all of the pictures that you see being taken of him within like the press junket and the red carpet event, he's alone. It seems like whenever an actor is asked about him, they somehow change the subject and no one wants to talk about Justin. And it is so creepy and so weird. Justin wanted to make this movie because he wanted to put the spotlight and the focus and bring attention to DV. Because of course that is what this book focuses on. Whereas if you watch the interviews that Blake Lively has done, she has very obviously been promoting this as a rom-com. It's very off. It's very weird. It's giving not demure, okay? It's giving that you're being way too big of, like you're just doing too much. You need to bring it down. Yeah, so if you go and just watch some of Blake's interviews, it's so off-putting to see her take a very serious question and turn it into a laughing matter. She turns every answer into mentioning her new hair care line that just dropped at Target, and how all of the products, like all of the hairstyles that she wears in the movie, were done with her own hair products. And ooh, you gotta go buy my shit. What? Like, I haven't heard one interview that she's given that she genuinely was super serious about it and talked about DV and gave like a hotline or gave a support system or gave any kind of information, real life statistic about anything. She hasn't done any of that. And I think it's so disgusting. I truly think it's disgusting, because I hate reading comments on TikToks, on videos of people saying like, oh, actors they're not really supposed to be, you know, doing anything but the acting. But I feel like if you're taking on a role, they're discussing a heavy topic, a depressing topic, a detrimental topic such as DV, you need to take that shit seriously. You truly do. And it's very obvious that Blake has no fucking range. She has no range, guys. She can't act. The reason why she didn't pull that movie off, I haven't even seen the movie and I already know it's bad. I already know it's bad. I just know it, okay? Reason why she probably can't fucking act is because she's just so used to playing that one-sided character. All right, y'all want to claim she was so good as Serena. It's probably because Serena was her fucking alter ego. Like, what are we talking about? Oh my gosh. No, but I'm like so over this whole PR junket. I wanted to go away. I wanted to disappear. Like, Oh my gosh, just when you thought it ends with us drama couldn't get any worse when it comes to the book, now the movie is just like has its own fucking monster. Oh, and to like top it all off, that one interview that Blake did years ago, interviews that she did with a lady, and Blake Lively was currently pregnant during that interview. If you guys haven't seen that shit, look it up. Just look up Blake Lively pregnant interview. It'll be the first one up there because it's blowing up currently. But if you look up that interview, the interviewer starts off the conversation by saying, oh, congratulations on your bump, because at this point Blake Lively is currently like 8 months pregnant. So she says, you know, congratulations on your little bump. Blake Lively gives her the fucking stinkiest face you've ever seen, and she's like, congrats on your bump. I'm like, bitch, where does the distaste, where did that come from? Why are we getting volatile? I can't congratulate you on your baby? Are you okay? Are you good? Mentally, are you good? Because if you had a bad day, you don't need to take it out on this woman who was just trying to be nice and kind to you. And then the other actor who was next to Blake, of course, took Blake's side. And that whole interview, Blake and that other actress were just talking and having their own conversation. And the interviewer just sat there. And it was the most awkward and heartbreaking interview I have ever witnessed in my life. And I feel so, every time I watch that interview, it gives me the fucking, I just want to break out in hives. Because if that was me, I would have just been crying. I'll be honest. I would have just been like, you know what? I think I need to walk away, because they obviously have decided to hate me. These are obviously a bunch of mean girls who want to do nothing but hate on a random person they don't even know. So, yeah, after this press junket, Blake can just fade away and like never make a movie again. That'd be great, because I'm definitely not going to be jumping up and down to go watch another movie that she's in. I mean that. And it's so, there's this funny, I also heard that Justin Baldoni, the guy that plays Ryle, he recently hired like a, I guess he hired Johnny Depp's lawyer for like crisis management because of all the shit that's going on. And so there's this one interview that he answers so fucking well. And of course, because he got bulldozed over when it came to producing, the interviewer asks him, she's like, so are you like planning on producing the next movie, which is It Starts With Us, the next book? And he's like, nah, I think I'm gonna let Blake take over. Like, it was so funny. You could just tell that this man has been trained on what to say. He's not gonna fuck up his fucking career, which I hope he doesn't, because I love him so much. He's in Jane the Virgin. If you guys have seen that, you know exactly what I mean. Great, amazing show. And he also produced 5 Feet Apart. Like, I just love his work, and I just want him to not let this deter him from producing more movies. If anything, this is just a learning lesson from him, to never hire Blake again, and to definitely, I don't know, maybe focus on hiring more unknown actors, because I mean, even before the press junket happened and they were like still filming, hate was already coming for this movie because of the casting in of itself. Like, in the books, Lily Bloom is supposed to be in her early 20s. I don't know how old, maybe like 22. And like Ryle is like a brain surgeon, so he's got to be kind of older, like 30 something. So like, why are we hiring Blake Lively, who's almost 40? In her 40s? Why are we hiring an old lady? Like, not to be rude, but when you're casting a character who's supposed to be 22 and you hire a 40-year-old, that's old, babe. And it doesn't work. It literally doesn't add up to me at all. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. And she's not even a real fucking redhead. It's not that hard, guys. It's not that hard to find a redhead actress. I can give you 5 off the top of my head. I can give you 5. I can give you 5. It's not that difficult. Come on. And her hair. I've seen the trailers. Her hair looks horrible. That's not what I said. It looks bad. It's like a horrible red. It's like ugly. It doesn't look good. But yeah, that's the tea. And I hope that it dies down, because I'm sick of it being on my TikTok feed. I'm sick of seeing more interviews of Blake that make me hate her more, because hating is just so exhausting. Like, please just fade away and go over there and stop making movies. Thank you. All right, thank you. All right, guys, so there you go. That is my quick book review and kind of like PR movie review of It Ends With Us. And thank you guys so much for watching all the way through. If you did, let me know down below if you enjoyed. reading either of the books, It Ends With Us or It Starts With Us. And if you've seen the movie, let me know how it is. Like I said, I haven't seen it, but I've heard enough about it to know that it's probably not worth my time. Anyways, guys, bye.